Hot for fashion, you look smashing. You'll go far in Favors.
Favor gives you hot fashion and cool comfort. Shoes with padded insoles and a fit that feels good all the way. At Favor, the styles stand out and the shoes stand up. Favor guarantees it. And now there's no stopping you when women's fashion pumps are just $10.90 a pair. $10.90 for fashion pumps so good looking, you'll go far.
You'll go far in Favor.
This is the face I want to show the world. Fresh and very natural. I think the look is special, and my moisturizing makeup is why. Moisture Whip Makeup by Maybelline. My skin drinks in the rich moisturizers, and Moisture Whip blends in smoothly and evenly. For the look I love, soft, fresh, and very natural. Moisture Whip Makeup by Maybelline. For the face you want to show the world.
You've got the look, I want to know better. You've got the look that's all together, working, playing, day or night. Jordache has the fit that's right. Jordache look, the Jordache look.
Whatever the freak that name that's called. What is it called? What is it called, my honey? Balenciaga. Thank you, my wife. Balenciaga. Has anyone really forgotten about Balenciaga? I still hear it in the news every once in a while, and people are still pissed off about it. This is a company that freaking putting kids with bondage and discipline in the photos. They wipe their entire Instagram. When you have to wipe your fucking Instagram account of all as a fashion company, one of the top fashion companies in the world, if you're wiping out your accounts of all your photos, man, you must have a lot of really bad evidence in there. And you got to remember, Balenciaga is tied to, what is it, about 10 other companies? You know, some of the top fashion companies in the world. See, this is what, you know, I was saying to my wife this the other night. You know, I kind of miss the old days. When I was young, you know, when I was a kid, you know, when it came to makeup, yeah, you did have a high brand here and there, not like today. What did you see in the commercials? You saw Revlon and what's the other company other than Revlon, my dear? Max Factor. Yeah, Max Factor. And a couple of others on there. For the guys, what did we splash ourselves with? Old Spice and Brut by Fabergé. My wife looks like, yeah, but that was the thing about it was then. You were not looking by, what is it, Legacy by Lancome. You know, none of that shit. There was not those commercials like that. And people say, well, come on. You don't like the smells on some of the colognes then? You know, there are some of them out there that are pretty good. Overpriced for, you know, cologne and water, you know, fragrance and water. But, you know, it was much easier in the 70s and 80s. You didn't have these, you know, these extravagant things on there. And I think that's one problem is that we need to go back and look at what we are buying these days and what trust we put in some of these big companies. Oh boy, I'm probably going to be hearing it on my freaking email. You're going to have Lancome and all them. And what are they? What are you doing? You know. And yeah, but it was easier. It was easier. The same thing with the clothing lines. You know, you did have, when I grew up, we did have Nike, but it was like not everybody really bought Nike around me. You know, my brother was the one who wore the Nike. I bought Favor. And if you don't know what Favor is, think of Payless in the 1970s. Favor was the cheap shoes. Yeah, the Skippies. Thank you, my wife. The Skippies that you used to buy when you were a kid. You know, you bought those Skippies. They were inexpensive. They were like $5. It was like $5 to $10 for a pair of good sneakers. And you know something? You want to hear the scary part about it? They lasted. You know, on occasion, I might have gotten a Reeboks on there because my mom said, come on, wear some Reeboks. You know, get a little style in you. And I said, no, I always liked it. You know, I never really got into that when I was a kid. Yeah, the closest I got to designers like Levi's, but I preferred the Lee jeans. You know, I didn't wear anything extravagant other than when I got into high school, I wore suits. You know, and I did get some expensive suits at the time because, you know, my frame was a little husky. And I'll tell you, growing up in the 70s and 80s, when it came to my physique, as you would say, I had to go out and almost practically go custom. I think I was at the department store Barney's to get a suit for my confirmation when I was a kid. And I think at that time, my mom spent $300 and I had to get it tailored, obviously. You know, we went from store to kid store. And they didn't have the right build. I mean, you know, and I'll tell you, today's the same situation. They don't have the right build on a lot of these clothes. They try to, and I understand, and take it from someone who worked in the retail industry. A lot of these guys, they just, you know, and people say, well, it's because it's made in China. No, has nothing to do with it's being made in China. Yes, it's made in China, but the thing about it is you have to remember, there are people who design these shoes or design these clothes and stuff like that. They give schematics to the factories and they do it to whatever it is. So whether it's in China, whether it's Vietnam, Thailand, you know, Mexico, you get the same shit all over the world. And this is the reason why. Because basically, and I'm not saying for fat people or anything like that, you know, everyone that's heavy, they look at the average frame and it's like they try to get the average, but the thing about it is, they're not getting the right average. They're not averaging out. They're not going out there and looking at the percentile. And I'm talking people that are in great shape. How many times, folks, please say it in the comments down below, or if you're watching this live on the chat, you know, how many times have you gone to the store and something didn't fit right? They just didn't fit right. And even if you went up a size of shirt or down a size of shirt, it still didn't fit right. And the thing about it is, well, not everything's for everyone. Yeah, but, you know, if it's a t-shirt and it doesn't fit right, something's wrong with the cut. Something's literally wrong with the cut. Because either the factory didn't cut it right, or it was not designed properly. Just watched a segment from our Madman Cafe show every Sunday night at 6 p.m. You can catch it over at Odyssey. Check in the description below for the link that will lead you to our Q2Cast TV site.